Today is a really significant day for many people in their late 40s and early 50s because on the 19th of June, for anyone in Europe and America, and 20th of June for anyone on this side of the world, I'm in Australia, Chiron just returned to 0 degrees of Taurus for the first time in almost 50 years. So why does that matter? Why should you take notice of where this is in your chart and how is this going to impact you? If you don't know me already, my name is Debbie, founder of Green Star Healing and also the Belief Alchemy Collective on School. So I'm going to explain to you now in this chart exactly what Chiron is. I'll give you an overview, a little bit about the background behind it, why it's significant, and the difference between the energies, because it's literally just moved from Aries into Taurus. And then I'll unpack each of these topics into other videos where we'll explore this into more detail. But I wanted to record this today. Not only is it 0 degrees of Taurus, but this is also my own personal Chiron return. So in my natal chart, my Chiron is at 0 degrees of Taurus. So right now it's literally passing over, transiting my natal, which is even more significant. And why do I have such a passion for this? Because I've been learning about Chiron over the last few years on my own healing journey. And when I came across Chiron and started to read more and more about it and uncovered more about my chart, a lot of things started to make sense. And as a result of that, one of my signature programs that I created is related to Chiron in Aries, which is for women who typically are either just before 50 or into 50, and I'll explain why there's a crossover there. So basically in my class, for example, at school, in my entire class, in my entire year, there will be some women now with their Chiron in Aries and some with the Chiron in Taurus. And the main reason being is that Chiron has just made its return to Aries and has been in Aries for 7 to 8 years, because it kind of went back into Pisces and then back into Aries. But it's been in Aries for a full 7 years. And just now it's gone into Taurus, but it's only going to stay in Taurus for about 3 months. Then it's going to go back into Aries again for, I think, another 6, no more. I think it will go back for another year. And then eventually April 2027, it will leave Aries again and go back to Taurus. So anyone with Chiron in Aries or Taurus, it's significant. But even if you don't have Chiron in Aries or Taurus, it's still significant because transiting Chiron will impact on your own natal birth chart. It will impact the collective energy. It will impact your life area. So it's still significant. You can have a look at where Chiron is in the sky today, which is, at the time of recording this video, 0 degrees of Taurus. So if you have a birth chart and you find 0 degrees of Taurus in your own birth chart, that's where Chiron is currently passing over, and that will show you the house number and the life area. And I'm going to go into more detail on this in another video for those of you that are interested. But yeah, this is so significant because it takes Chiron 50 years to return. So for some people, we only have one Chiron return in our lifetime. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to live until we're 100, hopefully I will live till I'm 100, then I will experience a second Chiron return. So for those of you who have Chiron in Aries, is very much around a wounding connected to self-worth and identity and courage. So what this means is that people that have this wounding, it's like a spiritual wounding, and it often gets activated in our childhood. So there'll be something that happens in our childhood that brings up this wounding for us, and then it will possibly become a reoccurring theme. And then when we actually get our Chiron return, this is going to activate it again, and so different things may happen which may then activate this wounding. So anything connected to feeling something around your identity, or having a feeling of not being worthy, feeling of maybe being rejected, maybe there might be challenges in how you step into leadership. So there's many different aspects. I'm going to go into this in a separate video in more detail. But this wounding is something that will get triggered, and the only way to really go through this is to do the inner work. So if it's feelings of inadequacy, or something around your identity and your self-identity, or sometimes if it's identity, for example, when we then get our Chiron return, we have an identity crisis around that time. The best thing to do is to do inner work around this time, to do practices that can help you, whatever that is for you. So really sort of doing a lot of self-care, really doing a lot of inner work. It might be things to do with, like, journaling. It might be things to do with an outlet. It might be to do with sharing. It may be that around this time people step more into spiritual things. That could be something as well that helps you to alleviate some of the discomfort that the Chiron wounding can bring. But this Chiron wounding is not all bad. It's actually something that is there for us to almost honor and to alchemize. If we do the inner work, if we spend time in it, if we can sit in it, if we can understand it, if we can understand our wounding and how it came about and why it came about, there's actually something very healing in that, very significant. Although some people say that we can't actually fully heal the wound, but what we can do is we can then turn this wounding into a sort of, it almost becomes like a superpower. It's a way then of you to being able to help other people, and that may not necessarily be in a way that is fully, I'm not saying that you need to go and become a healer, or you need to come and do a YouTube video like this, unless it's your calling, or unless it's just something that you feel drawn to share. But you may wish to then share whatever you've learned on your journey to help others. And it may just be with your friends or your family. It may just be with your circle. It may just be on your own social media page, not even just sharing something. It may be through a job. So for example, if it's around your voice and speaking your truth, and you really had to overcome that, how did you do that? How did you overcome that? And then you can maybe help others. So you may go into a profession where that becomes something that you do. It may be around, with Aries, it can also be around the body. So things can come up around dysmorphia, for example. Maybe you overcame something like this, and now part of your journey might be helping other women to overcome that exact same thing. So it's actually a really interesting placement in your astrological chart. Not only is it significant because it can cause quite a lot of internal conflict or discomfort, shall I say, But it also can bring around a lot of peace and a lot of joy and a lot of healing, not only to yourself, but then maybe to other people. So for those of you who are now moving into this period now where we're going into Chiron in Taurus, if we've got Chiron in Taurus in our chart, whereas for Chiron in Taurus is the sign of Taurus is very much around our values and our worthiness and also our resources, what we own, so money, but very much more centered around our resources. So with Chiron in Taurus, there'll be some wounding around perhaps the value that you place on yourself, and also in relationship to resources and things. And so, for example, you may have a wounding where you don't feel worthy enough or valuable enough, and you might have a constant struggle maybe around receiving. So whether that's receiving from others, there may be a scarcity issue there, a scarcity lack to do with money or abundance. So you may have maybe anxiety around money, or you may have a lot of ups and downs in your bank account, or just feeling guilty about wanting wealth, for example. You may also have some type of safety wound, because Taurus is very much around feeling safe and grounded, so there could also be something there as well, and that could also be connected to financial instability, or it could be family instability in the home, which then can mean that we might cling too tightly to security or objects or values or resources, or might stay too long in a space where it's not really healthy for us. And yeah, there's other things that are connected obviously to Taurus as well. I'm going to explore this and go into more detail on another video, but the sign that you have your wounding is very much around what the wounding is, but then the house placement will then tell you where in life that got activated. And there is also other parts of your chart that you can look at as well. So we can look at the degree of your Chiron placement. This can reveal a lot. I was very, very surprised when I found mine out and explored this. And then we can also look at planets that are close next to or directly opposite, and this also can reveal. So it's about revealing a story around this wounding, what it means to you, and then it's all around really kind of connecting in with that story and really honoring that journey that you've been on and really feeling into that. And it's not something that is just going to happen overnight, and or even in one meditation or whatever it is that you want to do. But if we work on this, once you find, you'll know, oh, that's it, my whole life I've struggled with that. Okay, so, and there may be more than one. I have multiple wounds that are connected to this, but when we look at the house and then the degree and the other placements, and it tells you a bit more of a story, then that really then opens up to you, and then you can really work on that. So if it's to do with, for example, if it is to do with the worthiness, then that's what you need to work on. And working on worthiness is not there's no quick fix to working on worthiness, particularly if you are around the age of 40 or 50. These are things, stories that we've been telling ourselves our whole life. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I can't do this, I can't do that. And sometimes we're not even consciously telling that story. It's the subconscious that is telling it, and the body sometimes then will react to that story. And so interestingly, Chiron can also manifest in the body, and this is why as well it's something just to be aware of, because when that transit occurs, when you're having your Chiron return, then this can also then activate certain things in the body. And interestingly, for example, Taurus is related to one of the body parts is the thyroid. Okay, and this actually has been a very significant health issue for myself over the last few years. And literally in the lead up to this week, I can really feel it sort of almost, I can feel it there. I could feel that maybe there's a change, or there's a resistance, or there's, because I had the intention that I wanted to put together this series. I've been wanting to record this for so long, mainly on the sign of Aries and then Taurus. And I do believe, because I have 0 degrees, that I am very much on that cusp between Aries and Taurus. So I do feel like I have a bit of a blend of both. It's predominantly Taurus, but there is an overlap anyway. And yeah, that whole visibility definitely has been a factor in my journey. So I want to also share my journey, but what's more important is that you uncover your own journey and that you get your own aha moment. And for those of you who are interested, we can even go even deeper. We can go galactic with this. So I'm very, very interested in galactic astrology. And so in the signature program, we actually then looked at this as well. And it's super fascinating. So that's basically Chiron and the significance of Chiron return, the significance of Chiron at 0 degrees of Taurus, because it's the first time that it's been in Taurus since 1983. So for me, I would have been 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old. And that's because it was in Taurus. It stayed in Taurus for quite a while, then it went back and then forward, blah, blah, blah. So that's why it's that time. So about 83. And the significance, obviously, for anyone in their 50s who already had their Chiron return, if this is the first time that you're hearing about this, I'd love to know whether this is making more sense to you now, knowing that that has just happened and you've just gone through that, and just really now in these next 3 months noticing whether there's a bit of a shift for you. You might notice that energy, like a lift may happen for you if you've got your Chiron in Aries, whereas for those of us in Taurus, just know whether you notice that change. And even as a collective, although Taurus is definitely a different energy to Aries. Aries is a very intense energy. It's a fire sign. It's intense, whereas Taurus is more grounded energy. It's softer. It's more feminine. It's more grounding energy. So, but it is telling us to go into our bodies, to notice our body, to really feel in now to this time, and to, if you wish to, then to commit to this journey now, because we're on this journey now for the next 7 or 8 years. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna go back into Aries for a bit and then go back into Taurus. But we are on this journey now, so this is the time. And if you have already been doing the inner work and you've already been committing to doing that work, which I know a lot of you have been, then this may not feel as intense for you when you get your Chiron return. So also just to let you know, your Chiron return is not necessarily the day of your birthday, okay? My Chiron return is now, but my birthday is not until October, so it's around the degree that it comes to, and I'll do a separate video on this as well to show you how you can find the exact day and time of your Chiron return for anyone who's interested in that. So if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel, to give me a like, to comment below, let me know whether this resonated with you, and even tell me what it is that you want me to create a video on next. And I plan to now commit to this journey, to my journey, to anyone with their Chiron in Aries and Taurus, and anybody else who it's still significant to the collective. So that's why I feel passionate about it, because like I said at the start, I've been on my own healing journey now, and it's been around 4.5 years, I think. And when I uncovered this, it really was quite a significant turning point for me. And there's many other synchronicities that came along with it as well. And I'll explain those in other videos too. But yeah, I really look forward to sharing what I've learned and helping you to understand. And the most important thing is being able to now take the medicine from this. It's not just something, it shouldn't be something that's just awful and scary and we avoid it. No, it's something that we can actually be excited about uncovering, because when we do the work and when we really go inside and do that inner work, then it can absolutely release something quite magical. And like I said, that potentially your Chiron is part of your superpower. It might be something that you came here to do. It might have a message in there that really helps you to understand, oh yeah, that's why all of these things have happened, and now this is what I'm going to do about it, and this is how I can now go forward and help other people or do XYZ. So I think it's really important for people to be aware of it. You don't have to be into astrology. Obviously it helps, but yeah, I hope that maybe this might sort of open up that window to some people to explore astrology a little bit more, because it really is quite fascinating when you explore your own chart and uncover more about it. Okay, so like I said, give me a like, follow me, subscribe to my channel. I promise to post some more videos now as we go along. And I also, as I said, host the Belief Alchemy Collective on School. So if you go to www.school.com and just search for Belief Alchemy Collective, or you can search for, search for this and you will find my school there. And inside this school, we actually look at, we do a lot of working with the lunar cycles and astrology, but working a lot with what it brings up for us. So really sort of going inward and doing the inner work in terms of what the different, because the moon moves through one cycle, 29 days, so it goes through the 12 zodiac signs, and it brings a different energy all the time. So every 2.5 days the energy is really moving and changing, and the 8 phases of the moon shift the energy as well, so it's always something different. And there's this ebb and flow, and it's just a really nice energy that you can work with, and this can help you to really uncover what might be going on. So my community is very much for people who might be feeling like they're stuck, they might be going in like looping, it might be repeating patterns, and it's about really connecting in with yourself and developing more self-trust and deep self-trust if you want to go on that journey, but even just uncovering what might be holding you back. And I help you to identify those things, and there's beauty in that, there's real magic in that, and this can really help somebody to notice a pattern. And if you want to do deeper work with me, then I do deeper work in there. So we go into the Akashic records, and we also do beautiful, every Sunday I do beautiful guided journaling and then meditations where you can connect in, and we go and meet your future self, and yeah, we do the inner work. So if that interests you and you want to commit to this journey that we're now on, then yeah, come and check me out on school as well. So thank you for watching, thanks for listening, and comment below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.